Hey guys, hope you are all having a great day. Today we are going to talk about AMC and the current box office landscape that has everyone spooked. Moreover, I am going to talk about how the AMC board could actually capitalize on an amazing opportunity before movie industries do and perhaps start generating bigger streams of revenue. A lot of what we are going to discuss has to do with what some might regard as negative shill commentary, all because I am going to talk so facts based with numbers. So if you are one of those that hates when someone isn't elevating a stock endlessly, this is your cue to dislike the video and move on somewhere else. For everyone else, let's dive in. So let's begin with the current box office environment. As you might know, big studios like to put out their biggest movies during the summer. Year after year for decades on end, summer has been the moment big studios awaited with great excitement as millions of Americans rush in to watch the biggest blockbusters. Well, something weird has begun taking place. After the pandemic, we have seen a significant decrease in Americans going to movie theaters. Though AMC has reported growing audiences year after year, the progress is quite slow and a bit worrying for movie studios. This year in 2023, we are witnessing the biggest blockbuster movies flop, causing hundreds of millions of dollars in losses for the studios behind them. And this isn't a trend that started this summer either. Superhero movies, which became somehow the safest product that a movie studio could put out, are now experiencing significant reduction in box office revenue. The Flash, the latest biggest blockbuster movie by Warner Bros., is one of the worst performing superhero movies of all time. Even with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we are seeing flop after flop after flop. Disney's CEO Bob Iger even mentioned in a recent public statement that they are looking to reduce the amount of superhero movies they are putting out. But this trend isn't just exclusive to superhero movies. Indiana Jones, reportedly the most expensive movie in the franchise, just recently broke the $300 million mark. When you tally up the movie and marketing budgets, the movie is standing to lose somewhere about $250 million. Pixar's Elemental, the latest animated movie by the world's most prominent animated studio from Disney, also underperformed. Their previous release, Lightyear, also underperformed and ended up costing Disney tens of millions of dollars in losses. Dungeons & Dragons also did not perform up to par. And even the safest bets like Tom Cruise's latest Mission Impossible, which did score a franchise record number, still underperform according to expectations. Also keep in mind that the movie released early in a weekday, not on Friday, so this opening box office record the movie is glamorizing is taking almost an entire week after it was released, which definitely takes a bit of credit. Now, the question has become, why are movies failing all of a sudden? Just a couple years ago, movies were doing just fine, but now it's almost like a movie needs a miracle to just break even. The reasons are varied. Audiences tend to agree that movies feel stale and boring, especially superhero movies, which seem to be the most comfortable safe product studios love to put out. We are not going to get too political, but Disney has certainly not done itself any favors taking political sides either, which has also turned people away from going to watch their films. Others say that, simply put, inflation has gotten so bad that Americans are simply deciding to skip out on spending on things like entertainment at movies and using the money on more important things. These are all very good and fair conclusions, but today we are going to try to focus on the numbers rather than the social aspects that cloud the box office. The movie-making business has become way too expensive. Studios have been shelling out $250 million for movies that warrant no such high budgets. That kind of budget is simply impossible to have at the current time when Americans are economically struggling to put money on the table as it is. A reduction in the budget of movies will be needed if the studios want to be around in the future, because as it is right now, the business is simply not cost-effective. However, after plenty of research into a specific company, I think I may have found a perfect opportunity for a studio, such as Netflix and even AMC, which is the reason I am making this video in the first place, to make highly profitable movies. Horror films have long been an American pastime. People absolutely love to watch horror movies with their friends and families at both theaters, but also at home, which is vital for any movie studio that wants to make more money in a passive manner after releasing a movie. Last year, one of the biggest horror movies was The Barbarian, which with a simple budget of $5 million, managed to gross over $40 million at the box office, 8 times more than what it cost. Even the biggest movies put out by Marvel haven't done this feat. Smile, a movie that made a lot of chatter on social media, had a budget of around $17 million, with which market and other costs could have had a total of around $25 million. The movie ended up raking in more than $210 million at the box office, a monumental success. Even badly reviewed movies like Orphan First Kill, with a budget of $10 million, still managed to pull $30 million at the box office. And that pattern continues across the board. I think this is super important to note, because there is a lot of great opportunity for a studio to make great revenue in this genre, and who better than AMC to reap all the benefits from this. Let's talk about this a little more. AMC has two main ways they can capitalize from forming a very small studio made up by heads that have seen success developing small-budget movies that had great success. One is obviously the box office. AMC has said many times that they are desperately looking for ways to increase their revenue streams. The company is suffering from crushing debt, and its inability to close that out will leave it redundant. But the key here is the second benefit AMC could get from making movies. As of late, we have seen many studios renting out their movies to competitors. Disney puts out movies on Netflix all the time, and so does Warner Brothers, and so on. AMC has their own movie streaming service, which sadly almost nobody has because it doesn't have good offerings. If AMC were to produce their own movies, not only would they keep all the money they generate at the box office, but they also get to collect passive income by renting out these movies on other platforms, and more importantly, adding it to their own platform, which would then, theoretically speaking, start seeing a boost in growth from subscribers. You cannot attract people to a service if there is nothing of value, but if you all of a sudden start adding great movies that people enjoy, those numbers start going up. AMC is in the great position that it virtually has a monopoly in the theater business side of movies, and as previously discussed on other videos, movie studios need box office numbers. I mean, look at Disney Plus if you don't believe me. The company has said Disney Plus is not bringing in the numbers they need, and will need to continue to put out and depend on theaters to generate revenue. Even Netflix, Amazon and Apple have all said that they are planning on starting to put out movies on the big screens. The reason for this is that the costs of filmmaking is going up, and the number of subscribers these services have seemed to have peaked for the most part. This means that they will be forced to seek alternative ways to help bring in money, and theaters are the answer. AMC is literally positioned to have the greatest, and I really mean greatest, chance to make the comeback of a lifetime. Let's examine this a bit more. We know companies pay AMC money to put up advertisements. We also know AMC has also been showing that weird AMC commercial before every movie starts with Nicole Kidman. Now, AMC has very little to offer right now, so all they can do is tell the public that is already in a theater that the best way to experience movies is in a theater, which comes across as really odd. However, what if AMC had their own movie studio and a short commercial before every movie reminding their audience to sign up for the service so that they can access the full library of movies they produced? What if the service grows fast enough that other competitors such as Paramount begin to also put out their own movies and rent them on AMC service? All of a sudden, your advertising is actually working for AMC when you have more to offer than the service people already paid for and don't need to be reminded about. In fact, you could even give free promo codes at the movies for people to sign up for free for a month after you have a significant number of good showings. That could definitely help boost the numbers of subscribers up. But like the old famous Billy May commercials say, but wait, there's more, it doesn't stop there. So far we are talking about movies, and that's the way I think would be optimal for AMC to go, but let's talk about the future. Let's say that out of 10 movies a theoretical AMC movie production studio puts out, 3 to 5 are very good, and 1 develops a cult following. Guess what fans of products do? They tend to buy merchandise, and what better place to buy t-shirts and keyrings from your favorite movies than having a small stand for these types of products? Furthermore, with the successor of a franchise, AMC could even begin to develop small TV shows around the cinematic universe, building it up to be much more than it was meant to be with a movie. We have actually seen this before as well. Building a small studio and developing movies is not that expensive for a big multi-billion-dollar studio to do. Heck, even YouTubers right now are developing their own movies with intentions of putting them on limited showings on the big screen, so why is it that the AMC board is not taking clues and making some efforts? I mean, I'm sorry to burst the bubble of the most hardcore AMC enthusiasts, but Ape was a flop and honestly a robbery. Their willingness to add crypto as a payment service isn't going to bring in people to a theater either. AMC needs a big movement to make a big win, and it needs to start testing uncharted waters if it is serious about capitalizing on their potential. I mean, again, there is literally no better company in the world of movies that has more potential for growth than AMC. They could make studios, develop original content to put on their service or rent out on others. It has no competitors and other big studios literally depend on AMC to be profitable. So the cards are all on the favor of AMC, Adam Aron and the board members, but it pains me to say that I have not seen any creative decision making on their end. I know this is going to sound like a shill, but I cringe every time I see AMC shareholders talk smack to Adam Aron, demanding he somehow puts out some magical document that shows the amount of naked shares that exist or to prove his secret allegiance to Ken Griffin. I mean, as funny as some might think this is, it does nothing to help because Adam Aron cannot even talk on this matter, much less would he, as he would have nothing to say. Instead, we should be injecting serious questions and posting more constructive criticism with suggestions so that Adam Aron and the single-digit brain cells that sit on his board finally get a clue and start doing something. I want AMC to succeed like no other person. I love theaters and I love movies. And more than that, AMC has the perfect cards to win the game long term, but will they is the question. I hope that someone at AMC sees this video, because their lack of involvement to save their own company is really questionable and off-putting sometimes. Thank you for watching my video through its end. Let me know your comments below. I hope to see you guys on the next one. If you are interested in day trading, swing trading, weekly options or long-term investments, please check out my Discord. We have a lot of services set up for you guys. Have a great rest of your day and to the moon.